This is News 8 Now this morning.
Counts 1 through 6 are all separate charges of attempted first-degree intentional homicide with use of a weapon.
Just to find the fire was an issue. It's not just a small house. It's actually, it's obviously a school. So getting resources in, trying to find where this haze is coming from. When they finally located it is when they found the heat and the heavy smoke.
A lot of the hard work that's done in this state of Wisconsin is done by local folks. And we went decades without much, if any, increase, even an inflationary increase. And so working hard with legislators, we got it done, and really proud to do that.
Good morning. That was your morning eye opener. I'm Sophia Pullman.
And I'm Derek Sibley.
It is Thursday, June 22nd. We've had really hot temps.
Sure have.
Gonna have hot temps again tomorrow too,
Yeah.
but then rain this weekend.
Rain this weekend, and next week is looking cooler. So we finally get a break in the hot temperatures, which is nice. So we got a bit of a rain chance to work with this weekend, and then we're pretty much back to dry conditions next week. But again, it's going to be a little bit cooler though for next week as well. That is the main difference for us to deal with here heading into next week. As of right now here, we're also dealing with air quality alerts. For those of you that might have missed it, the whole entire state of Wisconsin, including us here in the Coulee region, are under this air quality alert until 11 p.m. tomorrow night. And then we also have an air quality alert in effect until 9 p.m. Thursday for our southeastern Minnesota counties as well. So pretty much everybody here on the News 8 Now viewing area, with the exception of northeast Iowa, under this air quality alert. Current temperatures are into the 50s and 60s, 64 degrees in Eau Claire, 66 in La Crosse, 64 in Winona. We're seeing the 50s, however, further off towards the east. Local satellite and radar picture continues to remain on the quiet side, and we are expected to continue that trend throughout the day today under mostly sunny skies. Temperatures warming up into the 70s by 9 o'clock, followed by the low 80s by 11, and then the upper 80s to low 90s later this afternoon, with just a slight chance of a shower. Here's a check on your allergy report here for today. The only high category that we have there on your screen is the grass, but everything else is either on the medium or low side of things. Stay tuned. I'll have a check on your backyard forecast, plus what we can expect here as we head into this weekend, because we mentioned those rain chances, and also give you a sneak peek of what's to come next week in just a bit. Sophia?
Thanks, Derek. The doors are closed and summer school classes are canceled at Central High School for now after a fire. Crews were called to the school around 4:30 in the afternoon for a fire in an HVAC system. La Crosse fire officials say there were a few hundred people in the building, but all evacuated safely. The battalion chief says the biggest challenge was finding the source of the smoke.
Just to find the fire was an issue. It's not just a small house. It's actually, it's obviously a school. So getting resources in, trying to find where this haze is coming from. When they finally located it is when they found the heat and the heavy smoke.
The cause of the fire remains under investigation, and officials will be doing safety inspections. La Crosse County authorities are waiting for DNA test results after human remains were found in the Mississippi River on Tuesday. According to the sheriff's office, the remains belonged to a man. Parts of the body were calcified and clothing was disintegrated, leading authorities to believe the body was in the river for a long period of time. The remains are at Mayo Clinic in Rochester undergoing tests. Authorities say a distinctive piece of jewelry was found with the body but did not give a description. The man accused of opening fire in downtown La Crosse last Saturday made his initial court appearance via Zoom. DeAndrew Grant faces 27 felony charges. According to the criminal complaint, around 1:47 in the morning, Grant was outside a bar talking to several people. Investigators say cameras downtown show Grant getting into a fight with one other person outside Press Break. Shortly after, police say Grant's car drove down 3rd Street in the wrong direction. Police say the driver was using his left hand to drive the vehicle while his right hand fired a handgun out of the driver's window towards Politos. At least 7 victims were shot.
Counts 1 through 6 are all separate charges of attempted first-degree intentional homicide with use of a weapon.
Along with attempted homicide charges, Grant is charged with substantial battery, first-degree recklessly endangering safety, and possession of a firearm by a felon. Grant is being held in La Crosse County Jail on a $1 million cash bond. Grant will be back in court next Wednesday. The La Crosse Center Board is recommending the city continue to manage the La Crosse Center. Board members made the recommendation at their latest meeting this week. Longtime coordinator Art Fay's retirement motivated the board to search for a private management company to potentially run the venue. After a year-long study, the board's president says privatization just doesn't make sense at this time.
In studying and looking at some of the proposals that we got from the other groups, we weren't convinced that A, they were going to be any more profitable or any more efficient for the center, and B, because this place is being, we think, on a run. We're doing well, and there doesn't seem to be the reason for a change at this point in time.
The leadership structure is still being worked out. Some of the projects the board also oversees is Pearl Street Walkway, which is slated to be finished in September. The Isle of Plume wastewater treatment plant in the city of La Crosse is getting an upgrade. The plant is 2 years into a renovation project and held a tour to show progress. The changes are meant to make the plant more sustainable. They will also make the plant compliant to new DNR regulations. There are other benefits like longevity that come along with the upgrades.
It's good for 20 years to move us into the future, and I think we're going to be in a good place.
The project has a $65 million budget, but Greeno said spending is expected to stay under that amount. The renovations are set to be completed by the end of 2024. More equipment has moved into the search area in the search for a submersible that went missing Sunday while exploring the wreckage of the Titanic. According to official estimates, time and oxygen are running out. Meanwhile, more safety concerns about OceanGate, the company that owns the watercraft, are coming to light. Jared Hill has the latest on those concerns and the frantic search to rescue the 5 people on board.
The U.S. Coast Guard says the search area for a submersible missing in the North Atlantic has expanded to twice the size of Connecticut. It's all in the race to find and save the 5 people on board.
There have been multiple reports of noises, and every one of those noises is being analyzed, tracked, looked for patterns, and reported upon.
But officials say it's unclear whether those noises are coming from the Titan, nature, even the wreckage of the Titanic itself. Experts note at 2.5 miles deep into the ocean, getting the Titan to the surface won't be easy.
Picking out a submersible amongst the piles of whatever that are down there, iron and other parts of the ship, is going to be very difficult.
Red flags about safety started emerging years before the disappearance. In 2018, industry experts sent OceanGate a letter bringing up concerns about the vessel. Engineer Bart Kemper was one of the people who signed it.
This is a one-off experimental that follows no code and follows no jurisdiction. They're self-certifying. It does not mean it's inherently wrong. It just means there's more uncertainty.
CBS News has also learned that a couple from Florida sued OceanGate's CEO in February after they struggled to get their deposits refunded for multiple canceled trips. According to court documents published by Fort Myers paper The News Press, one trip was canceled because of, quote, equipment failure.
In an interview with CBS News last year, the company's CEO Stockton Rush said the submersible is safe. He is believed to be the pilot on the missing vessel along with the passengers, which include British and French citizens. The Coast Guard says it has kept the consulates general from each country apprised of rescue efforts. Still ahead, a rally by Hollywood writers as they enter the 8th week on strike. And a lawsuit against Twitter. Employees say they didn't get their promised bonuses last year before Elon Musk took over. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Today is World Rainforest Day. The rainforests are a vital part of the world ecosystem. The Amazon rainforest, for example, produces 20% of the world's oxygen and fresh water. You can celebrate by shopping Rainforest Alliance certified products or by bringing awareness by posting to hashtag World Rainforest Day. Stay with us. We have more news after the break, including a look at the possible animal-free future of chicken nuggets.
Well, good morning, everyone. Air quality alerts continue across statewide, really across Wisconsin until 11 p.m. tonight. For those of you that are listening from southeast Minnesota, you're under this air quality alert until 9 p.m. Tonight. So those of you that fall into that sensitive group, make sure to limit yourself outside. Try to spend more time inside. And if you're going to be outside, make sure to take frequent breaks when necessary. Our current temperatures are into the 60s as you head out the door now, and we are expected to remain pretty sunny here as well here today. So the dog walking conditions will not be a factor at all. Just once again looking mainly sunny and also overall pretty hot as well. Mostly clear skies on the satellite and radar picture, and for today our zone forecast is going to show you that our highs will be reaching the low 90s in some spots here. As a matter of fact, once again today, in fact, a high of 90 today in Holmen is expected, 93 in Berry Mills and La Crosse and Alaska as well, 87 in Viroqua today, 89 in Stoddard and 89 at New Albin. As we head north in the central zones, we're looking at highs in those upper 80s to low 90s here today, with that high of 90 in Whitehall. Upper 80s to low 90s can be set here today in the Chippewa Valley. In fact, Eau Claire, you're looking at a high of 90 degrees. As far as your backyard forecast is concerned, today would be an absolutely great day to take a dip here in the pool because it's going to be a scorcher with that high of 93 today and under mostly sunny weather conditions as well. Now stay tuned. I'm going to have a check on that full weather forecast coming up in a few minutes. I'm going to talk about how long this hot and dry weather pattern will be lasting for us. Plus, we do have some rain chances here too, and that should help give us some relief in the heat and also help with the drought. All that and more coming up in a bit. Sophia?
The Writers Guild of America strike has entered its 8th week. Over 20,000 writers began a strike on May 2nd for better pay and bans on the use of AI. Thousands took to the streets in Los Angeles yesterday. The Writers Guild says the strike has caused California's economy about $1.5 billion. Social media giant Twitter is being sued for allegedly missing payments, annual bonuses promised to staff. A lawsuit was filed on behalf of the employees in San Francisco federal court. The suit alleges the company did not pay some former and current employees their bonuses from 2022. The lawsuit comes as Twitter executives have told workers they would receive the benefits before Elon Musk's acquisition of the company. The company that filed the lawsuit said they believe Twitter could owe tens of millions of dollars to thousands of employees. Your next steak may not come from a cow. The U.S. Department of Agriculture cleared lab-grown meat to be produced and sold in the U.S. This is according to Upside Foods and Good Meat. Good Meat advertises their products as meat without slaughter. Supporters hope lab-grown meat will help reduce greenhouse gases from animal farms. Good Meat says they will start production immediately but have no timeline for when the meat will hit store shelves. UW-Madison Center for Dairy Research is looking for a new part-time cheese taster. Armand Ramon explains what you need to be a Gouda cheese expert.
12. Now hiring cheese taster. Serious inquiries only.
It is a very kind of rigorous job. When the story went viral a little bit, people just kind of think, you know, you sit down, you taste some cheese, you say whether you like it or not.
When hot pizzas come out of the oven at the Center for Dairy Research, they're not gobbled up in minutes by a hungry crowd.
This week we have almost 30 pizzas that we have to evaluate.
How it tastes and functions is analyzed by descriptive sensory panelists.
Kind of what we're teaching them is to speak a common language. So think of like how well does it go through a shredding machine? How well does it bake and, you know, brown, blister? How does the cheese stretch and melt and flow?
But it's not just for aesthetics. They taste the scientific compounds and components used to flavor and preserve cheese, and they know that that can be risky.
An enzyme modified cheese, and I had a totally allergic reaction to it. The concentration was too high, which we don't know this because it's kind of wine tasting. And so the next thing you know, I'm like, Benadryl, quick.
But now panelists have a sharper eye than most at the supermarket.
You can see that on shredded cheeses, there's potato starch to keep the shreds separate. If I buy anything like a pre-made frozen like burrito or something, I know that that's not really cheese.
Because they had a hand in making sure it's Gouda for customers.
People don't realize how much work goes into the food industry as far as like quality control and research and development. Most people don't know that like professional tasting is a thing.
So if you think you can cut the monster,
keep your mind open and your palate too.
The application period closed, but CDR coordinators say they are always looking for occasional tasters and testers at Baycock Hall. Let's check in with Derek in today's forecast.
All right, thanks for that, Sophia. We do have air quality alerts in effect statewide for Wisconsin, and this goes into 11 p.m. tomorrow night. Now, if you are in southeastern Minnesota, you are under this advisory or alert until 9 p.m. tonight. So those of you that fall under that unhealthy, sensitive group, make sure to limit yourself outside here today. Try to spend more time inside. And if you're going to be outside, take those frequent breaks when necessary. So just some little bit some advice and tips there for you. But currently, we're looking sunny here in La Crosse. 66 degrees is our current temperature with a southeast wind light at 7 miles an hour. To the north in Eau Claire, 64 degrees with clear skies. Wind speeds looking calm and mainly light and variable here. Our current temperatures are in the 60s area-wide with temperatures into the 50s in some spots, however, further off towards the east. I'm expecting another hot day today as high temperatures will at least rise into the upper 80s. Some spots like La Crosse County today could reach the low 90s. If you're in Eau Claire, you're looking at a high of 89 degrees, however, but still a very hot day no matter where you are really across the Coulee region. Temperatures in the upper 60s at 7, followed by the mid 80s by noon today. Then we're in the low 90s by around 4 o'clock with lots of sun, 85 degrees and clear skies. And as we wrap up today, it's still going to be very warm and clear across the area. And speaking of clear, that's exactly what's happening right now and region-wide here as well across the upper Midwest as high pressure continues to control our weather. However, I am watching some showers and thunderstorms back towards the west across portions of the central and northern plains, and that system is associated with a developing low pressure system that's going to be moving east here, and that could give us some shower and storm chances as we head into this weekend. I'll get to that in a second, but as you can see, conditions are still looking very nice as high pressure continues to dominate the weather here for today. Maybe a slight chance of a shower, but other than that, mostly sunny skies, and this pattern is going to continue as we take you into tonight and also into early tomorrow morning. Maybe just a few passing clouds, slight chance of a shower there, and for tomorrow, conditions once again similar to what we're having today, mostly sunny, slight chance of a shower possible, but the majority of the storm chances and shower chances in general are going to be back towards the west as we're watching this developing low pressure system that's going to be moving in. That could help pick up our rain chances here again this weekend. But over the next couple of days, we're still once again, like we've been stressing here these last several days, under this very strong upper level ridge of high pressure, which is pumping in a lot of hot and dry weather conditions here for us to work with. And this ridge really isn't going anywhere here because it's still going to continue to affect us as we head into Friday. However, like I mentioned, we are watching that low back to the west. That system is going to help erode the ridge down. That will help cool us down and also give us some rain chances for us to work with as we head into this weekend. So you'll see it here pop up on the 8-day forecast. After we get through these next couple of days of some very hot air through Friday. Well, Saturday is going to be pretty hot too, but you can see this weekend we're talking about storm chances, and then after that it's going to be dry again, but much cooler with our highs dropping into the 80s, low to mid 80s that is, which is a little bit more seasonable for this time of year. Stay with us. We're back with much more news and weather, and that's still to come on News 8 Now this morning. We are taking a quick break with a look what happened on this day in history for June 22nd. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Blitz. The college basketball season is still a few months away, but when the women's basketball team returns to the court at Mitchell Hall, the Eagles will have a new voice in the huddle. UWL had a solid campaign this past season, a 19-7 record, but 6 of those losses coming in conference play. The Eagles season ultimately coming to an end in the first round of the WIAC tournament against UW Oshkosh. Last month, former head coach Karen Middleton accepted a job as an assistant coach at Duke, but the Eagles have found their next leader, and it's somewhat of a homecoming for the new head coach.
I've always had a special place in my heart for UWL as I grew up rolling around on the mats while my dad was wrestling and running through Mitchell Hall, and I love that it still feels the same there, and we have a ton of family up there, extended and immediate family, so it just really all aligned.
La Crosse native Moran Lonning will be coming home next season as she becomes the 16th head women's basketball coach in UWL history. Lonning's dad, Greg, was the UWL wrestling head coach from 1992 to 1998, so she's familiar with the area. She says she cannot wait to get started. As for what comes next, Lonning tells me she spoke to some of the players during her interview process. She says defense was a big topic of conversation. She's looking forward to expanding that hunger on the offensive side of the ball as well. And if her players can truly commit on both sides of the floor, Lonning says this team could be special come next season.
I know it'll take a little bit, and it'll probably take me a little bit to really evaluate everybody and get us all on the same page. But if we can commit to being together and being willing to sacrifice for each other, I don't think there's a limit on what a team can do together.
All right, let's go to the Diamond. The Legion baseball season underway. Viroqua and West Salem playing two. Post 138 took the first. Then it's Griffin Olsen striking first in game two. The birthday boy hitting this one to the moon. Monster 2-run birthday blast for Olsen gives his squad a 2-run lead. But here comes West Salem in the bottom of the inning. Joseph Daly stings one into center field. Chris Calico is going to come in a score. Deficit cut in half. Check out this play from Braden Peterson. Bases loaded, the pitcher saving a couple runs with that snag. Then the 138ers start pouring it on. Miles Fry slaps one back up the middle. That's going to score Jack Dahl. Viroqua plates 3 in the inning to go up 5-1. Calico gets West Salem closer here in the bottom of the inning. He smokes one to center all the way to the wall. Post 51 closes the gap, but Viroqua hangs on, takes both games of the doubleheader. On the gridiron, some more great news for Aquinas senior Shane Willenbring. The offers keep pouring in, and this one is special. Willenbring getting an offer from the Badgers as a preferred walk-on. The 3-year starter at left tackle has been a vital piece for the Blue Golds. He's helped Aquinas win 2 Division V state titles during his high school career, and it looks like his college career will be a special one as well. Rubber game in Milwaukee yesterday. Brewers and Diamondbacks going at it. No score in the 5th. The newest Brewer changes that with one swing of the bat. Raimel Tapia's first hit with the Crew is a big one. Puts Milwaukee on top, 1-0. But here comes Arizona in the 6th. Already one in. D-backs tack on another. Alex Thomas delivers a base hit into right center. Emmanuel Rivera comes in a score to give the Diamondbacks a 2-1 lead. Then in the 8th, same score, but Arizona gets some insurance thanks to Gabriel Moreno. He finds the gap in right center off the wall. Thomas is going to come in a score. D-backs make it 2 out of 3 over Milwaukee. They get the win 5-1. That's going to do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
A small plane crashed in a Waunakee neighborhood, and those inside walked away with only minor injuries. It happened around 1:30 in the afternoon. Waunakee's police chief says the plane had engine trouble right after taking off from the nearby airport. The plane hit 2 cars as it landed. Both passengers were treated at the hospital afterwards, but weren't seriously hurt. Of the controversial Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The ruling effectively banned abortion in Wisconsin, leading many to travel out of state to get care. Medical program leaders are worried about how the ban could affect recruitment and retention, especially as the state deals with the physician shortage. Reporter Talil Mohildin explains how out-of-state partnerships are helping with training.
For a long time, Sammy Stropel has looked forward to going to medical school at UW.
To be able to, use this position that I'll have to advocate for other people.
More specifically, she wants to be an OBGYN. So when the news broke of the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, she worried about what that would mean for her education.
It did scare me a little bit a few weeks before starting school, knowing that starting a career in becoming an OBGYN is something that I've always wanted.
She says medical students, residents, and schools alike are finding themselves in a tricky situation.
For one, a lot of the residents, the OB residents that are currently getting their education in Wisconsin are heading to areas like Rockford, places in Illinois where they're able to get that training.
But for many Wisconsin students wanting to get abortion education before they receive their medical degree, their options are more limited. It's the reason Senator Tammy Baldwin introduced the Reproductive Healthcare Training Act in mid-June to help support training in abortion care. In a press release, she said the proposal would ease the burden that out-of-state training brings and support programs bearing the weight of it.
I think it would be a huge change and a huge motivator.
Hands-on abortion training is not required to get a medical degree, but medical programs are required to offer it to people who want to become board-certified OBGYNs. To work around this, UW Health, for example, has created a partnership with the University of Chicago to provide OB residents a rotation in Illinois.
The Reproductive Health Care Act would dedicate $25 million a year for the next 5 years in grants to eligible medical programs. Wisconsin's governor signed a bill aimed at improving Wisconsin's rural roads, something farmers say is an urgent issue.
Some of these roads are getting so poor, they're actually really hard to drive on. We can't drive high speed down the road. Not that a tractor goes real fast, but we have to get to where we're going.
Surrounded by politicians from rural areas, the state and farmers, Tony Evers signed the $150 million local roads improvement program. The bill makes agricultural road improvements eligible for funding and specifies the requirements for rural road projects to get funds. The governor said this bill, along with the shared revenue bill, is a good win.
A lot of the hard work that's done in this state of Wisconsin is done by local folks. And we went decades without much, if any, increase, even an inflationary increase. And so working hard with legislators, we got it done, and really proud to do that.
The governor signed a bill at a family dairy farm in Stoddard. Wisconsin lawmakers are debating an overhaul to how reading is taught in schools. Republican authors are calling for a phonics-based approach of sounding out words as opposed to memorization and context clues. They say it's a way to gain ground as state reading scores continue to slip.
We're going to retrain the teachers because they were primarily taught the wrong way to teach reading when they were in college.
Legislators in Wisconsin are attributing falling reading scores in Wisconsin to how students are taught to read. A bill passing the Assembly today would create a new Office of Literacy within the State Department of Public Instruction and make teachers avoid using the 3-cueing approach, which they say fails students. The $50 million legislation would spend money to help retrain teachers and also provide literacy coaches to schools in Wisconsin that most need extra help.
We reached a place where we're in agreement with DPI on this. They're supposed to put out a statement that they support the bill now. So I think we really weren't that far apart in what we wanted. It was just more the wording, and we got that straightened out.
There was some debate over what to do with third graders who are falling behind. The bill asks the Department of Public Instruction to create guidance, but each school district would create their own policy over whether to hold third graders back. The governor's office says they are still reviewing the legislation and do not know whether he will support it.
There are so many good things in this bill that I wish I could vote for. I mean, the literacy screener, the professional development, the coaches, the curriculum updates. These are good provisions.
The bill passed with a few Democrats on board, but a majority of Dems wanted to see it go back to the committee process.
Mr. Speaker, that this is a bipartisan bill. It feels disingenuous at best, but quite frankly, it feels like orchestrated chaos to me.
Wisconsin Superintendent of Public Instruction did put out a statement saying, in part, quote, "We have a significant amount of work ahead of us to help change student outcomes, but this reading package is a big step in the right direction." Here is Derek to tell us what to expect in our morning commute.
All right, thanks for that, Sophia. Just want to go ahead and let you all know that air quality alerts are still in effect statewide for Wisconsin until 11 p.m. Tomorrow night. Now, if you're in southeastern Minnesota, you are also under this air quality alert here until 9 p.m. tonight. So if you happen to be outside, make sure to limit yourself outside, especially those of you that are under that sensitive group category. Make sure to limit those times outside and take frequent breaks if you have to be out there. Temperatures are currently into the 50s and 60s across much of the Coulee region, and for today, it's going to be yet another hot day as highs will climb up to 93, mostly sunny skies as well. Wind speeds looking light and variable. For tonight, slightly on the warm side as well. Temperatures at 65 under mostly clear skies, and wind speeds still looking mainly light and variable. As of right now, conditions are looking nice and quiet here. Maybe just a couple of clouds, but for the most part, it's looking very clear here. And we're going to continue to remain clear and sunny really throughout the day. I would say that probably the best bet to go ahead and mow the lawn is earlier in the day, because after that, it's going to get pretty hot as highs climb into the low 90s later this afternoon. I'll have a check on that full weather forecast one more time coming up in a little bit, plus your Buzz Report as well.
Before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
All right, we're going to start off with Nico today. He's turning 8 months old. He likes to explore, enjoy milk and carrots, and stands up whenever and wherever he can.
Gannon is turning 8 years old today. He's a very kind kid, loves going to the Tomah Sparta Speedway, and his favorite NASCAR driver is Chase Elliott.
And this lovely lady, Donna, is turning 80 years old today. She enjoys stamping and swimming, as well as spending time with family, friends, and her faithful companion named Charlie.
If you know a special someone turning 8 months, 8 years, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website. It's news8000.com and look for that Submit Pictures button. underneath the Home tab on our website.
We'll be right back after the break.
Air quality alerts continue across statewide here in Wisconsin. This actually goes until 11 p.m. tonight, or tomorrow night, I should say. Meanwhile, if you're across southeastern Minnesota, you are under this air quality alert until 9 p.m. tonight. So if you happen to fall under the sensitive group category, make sure to limit yourself outside here over these next couple of days. Take those frequent breaks if you have to be outside, but it's probably a best bet to go ahead and stay inside as much as possible because the ozone is a little bit polluted near the surface. That will cause a little bit of problems here for those of us that are sensitive to that. Current conditions in La Crosse, 66 degrees with sunshine. Southeast winds pretty light at 7 miles an hour. Now, meanwhile, if you're in Eau Claire, you're currently sitting at 64 degrees with clear skies. Wind speeds are looking calm here. Visibility at 8 miles. Temperatures across the area are into the 50s and 60s. We got 51 in Sparta, but much warmer back to the west in Winona. You're currently sitting at 64 degrees. And today, I'm expecting another very hot day as it will be into at least the upper 80s. Some spots will climb into the low 90s, such as La Crosse County here this afternoon. All under lots of sunshine here as well. In fact, we'll be at 69 and sunny here to start at 7, 86 and still sunny at noon today, followed by 93 and clear by 4, 85 degrees with clear skies expected as we take you into the end of the day here this evening. Now, satellite and radar picture very quiet, and if we widen out the view, very similar light conditions can be set across the region here as well, as we're still under this area of high pressure that continues to dominate our weather. However, there are some changes, and those changes are actually back to the west. There's a little bit of some thunderstorm activity, and along with that, behind it, we're going to be expecting some cooler conditions for us to work with. But unfortunately, these next couple of days are going to continue to remain very hot and sunny here, it looks like, including today. Maybe a slight chance of a shower is possible, but for the most part, conditions will continue to remain dry. And the same can be said here, too, as we take you into tonight and through early tomorrow morning. Now, tomorrow morning, a few clouds maybe around the Chippewa Valley, but other than that, conditions are looking pretty quiet. And the same can be said here, too, as we head into the day tomorrow. Now, speaking of tomorrow, that's when I'm still going to watch those showers and thunderstorms back to the west, moving east across portions of central and eastern Minnesota. That could actually move in and affect our weather here as we head into this weekend. But, you know, just like what we were talking about these last several days, this upper level ridge of high pressure that continues to dominate our weather pattern here across our neck of the woods, spawning lots of hot and dry air across our area. And this trend is going to continue through at least Friday. Now, there are some changes here coming. We talked about that low pressure system. That's actually going to be moving in from the west. That's going to help weaken the ridge down. That will give us some cooler conditions to work with behind it. And out ahead of it, it's going to give us some rain and thunderstorm chances. So you'll see it here pop up on the 8-day forecast. So we got a couple of days of some hot and dry conditions to work with through tomorrow. And then Saturday is going to be pretty hot as well. But we are expecting that system to move in from the west to spawn some showers and storms for Saturday and Sunday. And then behind that, it's going to be pretty dry, but we're still expecting our temperatures to be near seasonable for this time of the year, which are into those low to mid 80s for the highs. Low temperatures, though, remaining somewhat consistent into the 60s.
We are looking forward to the weekend this morning. We have Chris Schreier here this morning to talk about the upcoming Budweiser, Dairyland, and Truck and Tractor Pull. Thank you for being here this morning, Chris.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Chris.
This might be the first time people watch a tractor pull. I've never seen one.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what to expect?
Oh, as in motorsports, you're going to see some high-powered tractors and trucks that are modified to the limit. And if you're looking for any that competition, Toma's the place to see it. The tractors pull a sled that's weighted for distance, so it gets heavier as they go down the track.
Yeah, and you know, we're not too far away from this big kickoff, right? So
Yes.
Can you talk about what we can expect, and is there going to be a large turnout to this event as well, you think?
There always is, and we're expecting a larger crowd this year. Things turned over the last few years. People want to get out, and they are traveling more now, long distances, to see this type of competition. So,
Where is it happening? What times?
Recreation Park in Toma is our grounds, and our first session is tonight at 7, and then we have 2 sessions on Friday and Saturday that start at noon and 7.
So we know in the past that you guys have gotten competitors from thousands of miles, away. Yes. So can you talk about that? And do you have competitors from other states or countries that are coming in this weekend too?
Yes, we get all the top competitors in the nation, Canada, some European ones come over and compete too. But they run a point circuit that they're all working at to get to Enderley Pull-Off in Ohio later in the year. So yeah, from all over the country.
Is it something that you do once a year? Is it multiple times a year? How long have you been doing this?
Thomas is just once a year. Okay. This is our 48th year of doing it. We're going into our 50th in a couple of years here, so pretty exciting.
So is there anything like happening this weekend that's new to the competition, or is it pretty much same old, same old?
It's the same old, but competitors come in. Their newest thing to look at is the new competitors coming in against them and what the other ones have done to their equipment to compete, keep the bar higher.
What are you most excited for?
The whole thing. We started out as competitors too, so we've grown with it. Our family has, so we've been with it since the start. But yeah, the whole show itself is just exciting to be there.
Now that I know this can be fun for the whole family too, but are there things for kids to do at the pull as well?
Yeah, besides enjoying, we have open pits so the families can walk around, talk to the pullers, look at the rigs and things like that. But on Friday morning, 9 o'clock, we have a kids club sponsored by Rink Seeds and WCOW, where the kids can come in, meet pullers, meet and greet, autographs, free t-shirts, food, and then they get a free ticket with a paid adult to come to the afternoon session. Friday morning, that's tomorrow.
Very awesome. If all of this doesn't get someone to come out, what else can you say to get viewers to come to your tractor pull?
Oh, besides, they've got to come for the competition. That's the main thing. But our grounds are free to get on and pay to get in the stands, but we have 20-some food booths that they can come and see. We got vendors there, commercial exhibits, a lot of things to do on the grounds, whether you go to the pull or not.
And where can people find more information? Do you have a website or phone number people can find?
www.tomatractorpull.com.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being here this morning. Make sure to check out the tractor pull if you're interested. Chris listed a website just before this. Check out the tractor pull. We'll be right back after the break. Time for your morning news now. The search for a missing submersible is reaching the hours of desperation as air is set to run out this morning. Rescuers continue to rush more ships and robotic vehicles to search areas, which is now twice the size of the state of Connecticut. Waters are as deep as 13,200 feet. Coast Guard authorities say they're still holding out hope of saving the 5 people trapped in the vessel. The craft set out on Sunday morning to explore the sunken Titanic and lost contact with those on the surface a few hours later. Summer school and events at Central High School in La Crosse are canceled after a fire breaks out. The school is closed to staff and students as safety officials do inspections. Officials say the fire broke out in an HVAC system. Several hundred people evacuated safely after alarms went off. The district will keep parents updated about summer class credits and the future of reopening the building. The man accused of shooting and injuring at least 7 people in downtown La Crosse last weekend is waking up behind bars with 27 official felony charges. DeAndrew Grant made an initial appearance in court where a judge charged him with 6 counts of attempted first-degree homicide. Other charges include substantial battery, recklessly endangering safety, and possession of a firearm by a felon. He's due back in court next week. The La Crosse Center Board votes to recommend the city remains in control of management. Longtime coordinator Art Fay's retirement led the board to consider having a private company help run the venue. After a study, the board's president says privatization doesn't make sense right now. Wisconsin's rural roads are set to get an upgrade. Governor Tony Evers signed the local roads improvement bill. It makes agriculture road improvements eligible for funding and lays out requirements for rural road projects to get funding. The governor called the bill a big win for both sides of the aisle and the people of Wisconsin.
A lot of the hard work that's done in this state of Wisconsin is done by local folks. And we went decades without much, if any, increase, even an inflationary increase. And so working hard with legislators, we got it done, and really proud to do that.
The governor signed the bill at a family dairy farm in Stoddard. Wisconsinites are one step closer to being able to get birth control from a pharmacist. A bill passed the assembly that would allow pharmacists to prescribe and dispense birth control. Patients would not need a prescription from a doctor or advanced practice nurse. The bill has bipartisan support and Governor Evers' support, but anti-abortion groups are against the measure. A bill to overhaul the state's alcohol laws also passed the assembly. The measure creates a new division to oversee and enforce liquor laws. It'll affect production, distribution, and sales of alcohol in Wisconsin. The bill has bipartisan support in the Capitol, along with the backing of national and state brewers, bar owners, and alcohol distributors. The bill now goes to the Senate.
People don't realize how much work goes into the food industry as far as like quality control and research and development.
Now hiring a professional cheese taster, UW-Madison is looking for someone to fill a part-time descriptive sensory panelist position. Whoever landed the job will learn the ins and outs of all things cheese. Panelists taste the scientific components used to flavor and preserve cheese. The experts say it's not so easy being cheesy.
And here's a check on your planner. We are looking at mainly clear skies here throughout the day. Temperatures warming up into the 70s by 9, followed by the low 80s later this morning. And then we're into the upper 80s and low 90s once again later this afternoon with mainly sunny skies overhead. A slight chance of a shower is possible, but I think for the most part conditions will continue to remain on the dry side. And as we head into the day tomorrow, it's going to be turning pretty hot as highs climb to 94 degrees. We're looking at highs in the low 90s as we head into Saturday, but chances of showers and storms here are likely this weekend, something we'll keep our eyes on. Now behind that storm system bringing us the rain chances this weekend, it's going to be a much cooler as highs drop into the low to mid 80s, which is a little bit more seasonable for this time of the year, thankfully, as we head into next week.
It's not that big of a difference, but it's a little cooler.
Yeah, I think we'll notice it for sure next week, but the 90s, whew, I gotta tell you, it's brutal out there. Make sure to have that AC on full blast. And also, we're under those air quality alerts here too. So, try to stay inside as best you can, especially those of us that are a little bit sensitive to that type of stuff.
Well, with it raining, people will probably stay inside anyway. Thanks, Derek. And thank you for watching News 8 Now. Don't forget to keep up with the news of the day on news8000.com. We will have the latest updates to today's top stories on News 8 Now at noon. Have a great morning, everyone. Thank you for watching News 8.